Wow, it looks like things are really starting to heat up. Emergency update. Guys, I was not planning on and coming to make this update tonight, but we have to delve into something. We see the pattern coiling. What does this mean? Will this pattern break out sooner than later? And is it good or bad that it's happening on the weekend? We really need to delve into this and what this means for the gap. The pattern is absolutely coiling right now, and by the time this video gets uploaded, we may have seen a massive break or a rejection. It looks as though we could be trying to come up and test the bottom of this very critical area, guys. So much to talk about today. Okay, let's do this. Wow, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another emergency update. This is actually critical. I have so much to talk about today. What's been going on with this inverse head and shoulders? Things are getting absolutely wild. I was actually almost not able to make this update as my 7 adopted kept asking me to drink chocolate milk, and they are lactose intolerant, and from previous experiences, it gets a little messy. The entire place was a mess. It was nuts. So guys, we are seeing right now on one of these charts that I'm going to show you something huge, and the pattern is tightening much quicker than I expected and hoped, actually. In fact, I was hoping this would take a little bit longer. However, we might not have the time to wait. We have to talk about why this is so critical. We have to look at exactly what the price target would be for this pattern, and we have to take a look to see if this pattern could actually break tonight, actually very soon, any moment actually. And if it doesn't, what does that mean? Is the pattern foiled? We have to get ready to talk about it. But guys, as well, if you've been watching the videos, you know that we are doing a giveaway for these ledgers this month. So if you guys would love to enter, make sure to just leave a comment below. And as well, if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, ding the bell, and let's get into it. So guys, starting on this daily chart, something very important I want to show you is this, and this is something I hadn't quite noticed before. This is something pretty interesting to me. This doesn't always happen with inverse head and shoulders, but if you take this exact neckline and you drag it down, okay, the support has basically been exactly on that neckline as well. You can see this is an exact channel here where the price bounces around. Something you do notice as well is that this key broadening descending wedge that I've had on here for a few weeks is actually still playing a role in terms of what critical areas are. You see that this has been absolutely crucial in terms of determining where we're going to get bounces for the past few weeks now. It's absolutely been very reliable. But really the key of this episode, of this emergency update, is inverse head and shoulders that we see playing out. Okay, taking a look at this on the daily chart, it's actually quite apparent, and it actually looks quite beautiful if this would actually break out. Now guys, I tend to think, because this looks a little too perfect, I tend to think that it might get delayed a few days. And in fact, yesterday's video, I said it would be a total of 3 days within that 3-day time period. And I'm kind of hoping, and one of the reasons actually is because weekend data I really don't like. As you know, we'll have that gap on Monday on the CME chart, and so far those gaps have been very reliable. All I mean by that is that if we have a big pump over the weekend, usually we get a pullback to fill the gap during the week. Out of my own hope, I was just hoping that we didn't get that, so we wouldn't have like sort of a guaranteed pullback. Even though it's not guaranteed, it's been very, very reliable. However, something more exciting here is, guys, if we actually get a breakout from here, and I'll zoom in to show you just how much we've been coiling, and actually this very nice consolidation pattern we've seen on a 1-hour chart. Look at this, guys. This is the neckline right about here. We're hugging the neckline right now. This is the neckline, and we have this very consolidation pattern. We could actually bring this down a little bit here. So again, if we follow it more like this, it looks like we could even have some more time to trade in here. This is the hourly, so this would only be a few more hours. Okay, so it could happen within a few hours there. But again, if that actually breaks, and if we stop finding resistance there, that could be massive. But what is the target? That's what I want to look into in this video. What is the likelihood of this pattern breaking out? What does it mean? And as well, guys, at a certain point, if we would continue to test this and not be able to find a break, then it would be likely that we'd have to come down and find some support somewhere else. So a pullback in the short term. And I'll show you what that would look like as well. So let me zoom back out to the daily so you guys can see all this data in this beautiful form here. Okay, so basically after breaking a neckline resistance, projected advance is found by measuring the distance from the neckline to the bottom of the head. This distance is then added to the neckline to reach a price target. Any price target should serve as a rough guide, and other factors should be considered as well. That's why I love this. These factors might include previous resistance, Fib retracements, Fibonacci retracements, or long-term moving average. And guys, boy, do we factor those in. That's actually what makes all of this so exciting. Okay, first of all, if we zoom out, you can see where the key moving average. I want to start with the moving average because we don't necessarily talk about the moving averages in every video, but this is the big one. If we're talking about getting a breakout to some real bullishness, like a real breakout, you guys, then we have to take a look at the most key moving average indicator, in my opinion, the 21-week moving average. Here it is right here, which also happens to be exactly the breakout target of this inverse head and shoulders and exactly the top of this 7-month descending channel. If you guys are familiar with that, absolutely astounding. This is everything all in one, okay? We have to keep in mind the Fibonacci retracement levels, which if we go back here, those would be massive because if we would break out of where we are right now, if we would break out of this inverse head and shoulders, then we would shatter past the key Fibonacci retracement, and then we wouldn't have to worry about Fibonacci retracements playing any level of resistance in the short term, okay? So that would be beautiful there. So what we'd have to watch out for if we did get the breakout would be breaking to the top of this descending channel. And guys, actually, let's do the measured move. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. If we take from the top of the neckline to the bottom of where the head was, and you transpose that over, you put it on the right shoulder there, guys, that would put us right about to pretty much the top of this box right here, right around the 82, 8300. Now again, it doesn't necessarily always hit the exact target, you guys. Neckline break, there has to be a massive expansion of volume, okay? We have to make sure that happens because that's what we're potentially seeing right now, trying to break the neckline. Very key. So that is absolutely crucial, okay? Another thing as well, guys, is inverse head and shoulders actually looks almost pitch perfect to what we're seeing. This example of Alaska Air Group right here on this website is exactly the same as what we're seeing now. And it doesn't, again, guys, keep in mind, I'm not saying this is guaranteed to happen. Never saying that. However, this is a possibility that we're waiting for and hoping for most of all. Okay, because this would just confirm so much bullishness. Very, very exciting. Okay, so now if we switch to the daily chart, because that's kind of ugly for the pattern there. That was the weekly. I just had that on there so you could see the 21-week moving average. So here we go, guys. So we'll take the neckline here to the bottom of where this head was formed. We just take that up, put it on the neckline there, right where the breakout could occur. That would be our most bullish and expected breakout target. Okay, guys, right around, I would honestly put it in this box here, between 8,000 to 83, okay? Somewhere in that area. It has to be above at least minimum about 7,900, okay? But this would be the perfect breakout target right about here. And now, what does that mean long term? Okay, so say that does happen. Let's take a zoom out. And what does that mean long term? So 82, 8,300, you see it on this chart. But what does it look like on this other chart that we have been tracking here for a while? Well, guys, if we go to the 83, 84, you see some pretty significant things here, okay? I'm going to put it from about 81 to 83. So this, it's kind of like a box in this area. What that would do is get us above key market support, this, okay? In my opinion, the first huge clue that everything is turning around and we're about to go full bull mode, but not quite full bull mode just because of this. Okay, it's the first really big clue right there, first big confirmation. As well, it will put us to this absolutely insane area. Not only is it important because that's right where the 21 week is, but there has been some pretty strong resistance right at this 83 level, guys, for the entirety of 2019. An entire year, this was a big critical area in terms of support and resistance. Found resistance back in the first few months of 2019, and we found resistance back just in September to October of this year. Okay, when it fell through there, clearly you saw this drop was pretty big. So again, this whole zone is very important, and breaking the neckline and having the breakout to the projected target would put us at such an exciting level. Okay, but what I do expect to happen if we were to get that break, something really important would have to happen as well, and I do think we would have to come back down and test, guys. So as this even shows, you can see when it has the initial break right here, you see it comes back down, okay, to find support on the neckline and then continues up. Okay, so what you have to watch out for when you're watching these patterns, you cannot expect them to break. Let me actually go back to that head and shoulders. You cannot expect it to break here. Okay, let's say it breaks here and then just go up forever. Okay, that's not how it works. It wouldn't just be something like this. Okay, if we did get a break, let's say it comes up to right about here, this would not be out of the ordinary to come back down. It wouldn't necessarily have to go back down to the neckline, but would have to find some solid support, and the neckline would honestly be probably one of the most significant supports of the past few months, clearly, as a neckline was formed for a reason. That's where there's a lot of resistance, okay? So then a scenario like that could happen, but we have to watch out for that. If that does happen, this move right here would be absolute euphoria. That's when things really turn around. People are going to get real excited, and well-deserved. That's when things would get insanely exciting. So guys, keep that in mind. Let me know what you think. This inverse head and shoulders actually looks so pretty right now. It's very possible. If we actually, I want to say one more thing. If we actually go over to the 4 hour, clearly you see this little outlier right here where the first somewhat of a bottom and a local bottom was formed. You see this actually was some sort of inverse head and shoulders as well. Okay, it's much smaller. It's on a much smaller time frame, but you did see it have a break. This would be the neckline here. When it broke that, you can see it rallied up for a little bit. But again, this is a much smaller pattern. If I zoom out, you can just see the difference in size of these patterns. Okay, so the breakout was obviously much smaller. But again, this pattern, this would just be so beautiful. And again, for all the reasons that we've been discussing on this chart, why that would be so strong. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.